Faster, higher, stronger. That's the official Olympic slogan. But if smartphones had their own Olympics, the motto would sound more like barely faster, theoretically higher, marginally stronger. A little brutal, but let's be honest, that's the reality. Year after year, brands promise game-changing upgrades, but most of the time, what we actually get are tiny nudges forward. And that's okay. Today's smartphones are already insanely powerful. We've hit the plateau phase, just like a bodybuilder in the gym who maxes out and struggles to push further. What bothers me, though, is the way companies still hype every new model as if it's a revolution. Maybe I'm being cynical, but most of the time, I can't help but roll my eyes. Real leaps do happen once in a while, but here's the million-dollar question. Will Samsung's Galaxy S26 Ultra deliver one of those rare leaps, or just another polished rerun with a steeper price tag? Because yes, the whispers of a price hike are already here. Reports suggest the next Ultra could climb past its current $1,099 ceiling. The reason? Rising chip costs. TSMC, the world's biggest semiconductor foundry, has raised wafer prices. MediaTek is paying around 24% more, and Qualcomm about 16% more for chips built on the N3P process. Those extra costs rarely disappear. They trickle down to us, the buyers. Phones like Samsung's Galaxy S26 or Vivo's X300 could soon feel noticeably heavier on the wallet. Apple is also paying the higher wafer price, but since it designs its own chips in-house, the direct impact on iPhone pricing may be smaller. That leaves the big question, can Samsung manage something similar, or will it stumble again with Exynos? Yes, the big rumor, Exynos is back. The Galaxy S26 Ultra might ditch Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 in favor of Samsung's new Exynos 2600. For many, that raises red flags. Samsung's Exynos history hasn't been pretty. Lagging performance, heating issues, and endless comparisons with Snapdragon-powered models. But here's the twist. Early reports suggest the Exynos 2600 might actually be different. Built on Samsung Foundry's 2nm GAA process, ahead of rivals still working with 3nm, it could feature a 10-core CPU and Eclipse 960 GPU, potentially outperforming Snapdragon's Adreno 830 by around 15%. Improved heat management and efficiency could make it more competitive than before. On paper, this sounds exciting, but convincing the public, that's a mountain Samsung still has to climb. Trust once broken is hard to rebuild, and that's exactly why the Galaxy S26 Ultra should not cost more than $1,299. If Samsung is really betting on its own Exynos chip, which should be cheaper to produce than Qualcomm's, then charging consumers extra simply doesn't add up. Once upon a time, I believed every new phone was a jaw-dropping leap forward, at least twice as good as the one before in every possible way. But those days, long gone. Reality hit me and that rosy dream crumbled. Take the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Sure, it's a powerhouse, but compared to the S24 Ultra, let's just say it didn't exactly blow my socks off. And yet, here I am, genuinely intrigued by the whispers around the Galaxy S26 Ultra. In the last 15 years, phones have evolved at breakneck speed. Faster processors, sturdier builds, dazzling displays, you name it. But lately, the industry feels like it's hit a wall. The upgrades have become so incremental that people are starting to think smartphones have plateaued. But rumor has it, the Galaxy S26 Ultra might just break that perception, thanks to some ridiculously fast next-gen RAM. At first glance, faster RAM sounds like the world's most boring upgrade. I mean, the S25 Ultra is already absurdly quick. Apps open in the blink of an eye, literally. Who needs a blink and a half? My initial reaction? Meh. But then the plot thickened. This RAM upgrade might be about more than speed. If leaks are to be believed, the new chips will be physically thinner. And in the world of smartphone engineering, every fraction of a millimeter is like discovering hidden treasure. Why does that matter? Because thinner RAM could free up precious space for something we all actually want, a bigger battery. Suddenly that meh turns into, oh, now we're talking. Here's how. The S26 Ultra is expected to ditch its LPDDR5X RAM made on Micron's 1 beta process for the shiny new 1G Arian generation. On paper, that's a small speed bump, 9.6 Gbps to 10.7 Gbps, but the magic isn't in the speed, it's in the shrink. The 1G Arian process makes the chip smaller, more power efficient, and around 0.61 millimeters thick, noticeably slimmer than before. That tiny size drop might not wow you, but inside a smartphone it's massive.